All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday Lunchtime Drive-Thru here on August the 26th. I am Damon King. I'm a certified financial planner professional and wealth management specialist with ChappelWood Financial, but I'm also the lead instructor for ChappelWood University. And as part of our educational outreach, we do this Wednesday Lunchtime Drive-Thru where we talk about anything and everything related to retirement, but sometimes beyond just retirement. And today I have a very special topic that I want to share. And this was a very popular topic because we had a packed house on the call today. How to cut the cable cord and save money. Now, what I'm going to show you today isn't what I've seen other people do. It's not what I've read about. I'm going to show you what I did. I honestly believe that the best way to teach is from your own experience. And quite frankly, that's why I'm good at what I teach, because I teach from my own experiences. Just like if you were to get up and teach something from your own experience, you'd be a great teacher at it. All right. So I'm going to show you how I cut the cable cord and save money. Now, make sure that I can get my slides to, here we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. So what inspired me to cut the cable cord? Oh, and before I go on any further, I just want to say that throughout the presentation today, if you have any questions, if you'll hover over the little toolbar down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little button that says Q&A. You can hit the Q&A button and you can ask me any question that you want. And you're likely to have questions about some of the things that I'm going to talk about today because maybe you've never heard of some of these strategies, some of these solutions. So what inspired me to cut the cable cord? Well, like a lot of you, I bundled my cable, my home phone, and my internet into one bill, right? And that bill got to be over more than $300 a month for me. But here was the thing. I never used my home phone. You know what I used? This, okay? I don't know very many people who still use their home phone. Almost everybody I know uses this. So I never used my home phone. No one ever called my home phone. I realized I never gave out my home number anymore. I just gave them my cell phone number. My wife did the same thing. I also realized I have 300 channels in my cable package, and I watch like 10 of them. Okay? I mean, I watched ESPN, the History Channel, you know, Discovery. I liked all the science stuff and travel and things like that. And the Food Network. I like to cook, so I watched that. But I mean, I watched 10 out of my 300 channels. I was paying for two services that I barely used. And what happens with cable? Your costs keep going up, right? And you have to pick up the phone and you have to, bargain with them. Well, hey, what's going on with my cable bill? Oh, sir, well, Mr. King, we've got a special and we can knock off $30. You're like, well, why didn't you just do that? And I hated having to do that over and over and over again, just like you're probably doing. So that's what inspired me. But why did I hesitate? What took me so long to finally cut the cable cord? Well, I was afraid to lose access to certain shows and programming that I wanted. And that, that's what happens, right? The fear of missing out, FOMO, is more powerful often than what is real reality. And I knew I was only watching those 10 channels, but I may absolutely want to go over to Lifetime and watch me some Lifetime movies. Right, guys? How often do you watch Lifetime? My wife doesn't even watch Lifetime. Okay? The Hallmark Channel. Okay, I will admit, guilty pleasure. I watch the Christmas movies on the Hallmark Channel. Okay, I like the little towns and stuff that they live in. But the point is, I was afraid of missing out, even though I wasn't using it. I also didn't have any idea how I was going to replace cable. I knew nothing about all these different streaming services and how it all worked. So part of me was just kind of afraid to pull the plug because I'm like, how am I going to replace this? Am I going to have to subscribe to like 15 different things? I also thought if I get rid of my cable and my phone, I'm going to lose out on the discounts for bundling it all together, right? And that's one of the things they say, well, if you bundle all three of these together, we'll give you a nice discount. I wasn't using my head, ladies and gentlemen. The discount I was getting was still less valuable than the total bill that I was paying, right? So it's like, when you hear someone say, oh yeah, I spent $300 on this pair of shoes. It was 10% off. Isn't that a great deal? And you're like, no, because you spent $300 on a pair of shoes. Maybe they're great shoes. The point is, You would have saved more money if you just hadn't bought it in the first place. Who cares what the discount is? So my desire to save money finally won out over my fear of losing entertainment and discounts. Here's what I did. So I want you to get out your pencils, your pens, whatever, and write this down, okay? If you want to cut the cable cord, this is how I did it. And this is how I saved a ton of money. And I'm going to show you exactly how much money I saved in a little bit. So I asked myself some questions. How much television do I really watch? And what types of programming do I want to keep? It really came down to, well, I want to keep my local over-the-air TV. So I got to find a solution for that, right? I want to get 4, 5, 9 PBS. I still like movies, so I want to be able to watch movies, new releases, old movies, whatever. I got to have my sports. I got to watch my Thunder basketball, my OU football. So ESPN, losing ESPN was a big deal for me, okay? I needed something that was going to get that for me. I've got 2 kids, 2 sons, 9 and 7 years old, so I needed kids shows, okay? Maybe you have kids, maybe you have grandkids, and when they come over, they want to watch Cartoon Network and whatever. I also wanted to keep the ability for on-demand, okay? If you're like me, you've gotten to a point where you hate watching commercials. You record everything on your DVR. And oh, by the way, I wanted to keep my DVR. I'm going to show you how I did that. So I wanted to be able to keep the ability to go back later and watch stuff whenever I wanted to and skip past commercials if I could. So these were the things that I thought about. And so I went about looking for solutions to these problems. That's how you go about deciding what should you add. So the first thing I did was, I researched, I priced, and I finally made my choice. And here's what I did, and you can too. So number 1, for over-the-air TV, the very first thing that you're going to want to do when you cut cable, because remember, your cable provider, that cable box, is the antenna that provides not just the cable channels, but your over-the-air channels. So when you get rid of that, they're still broadcasting over the air, but what you have to go do is get an HD antenna, a high-definition antenna. Now, nowadays, there are no such things as HD antenna. They're just antenna, because a few years ago, they stopped broadcasting analog signals, and everything is digital. But you're going to want a digital antenna. I got one for $35 at Walmart. They're really cheap. I mean, you can spend more if you want to, but I got a pretty inexpensive, nice one. And it's really low profile. It's not like the giant rabbit ears that stick up like this and you put foil on them, okay? I am old enough to remember that, okay? I'm actually old enough to remember when we had the giant console television when I was a kid, and like the box was like 10 feet wide, but the screen was like this big, right? So it was mostly console, and you still had to get up and turn the channels. I do remember that. But the HD antennas you get nowadays are really small, low profile. They've got tiny little antennas that stick up. And mine sits in a place you don't even see it. It's on top of my entertainment center. You don't even see it. So this antenna allows you to pick up the digital signal for all the local network stations. So for 4, 5, channel 9, OETA, 34, 43, all of those channels, okay? And what you're going to find is not only do you get the main channel, but there are HD channels, sub-channels. So let's say 4, channel 4. Well, there's 4.1, that's the main channel. But then there's 4.2, okay? There's 4.3. Then there's channel 5, 5.1, 5.2. And these extra channels show other kinds of programming, which is kind of cool, okay? So there's OETA, for example. OETA, the main channel, has Nature and Nova and all that stuff, this old house. But then there's 13.3, which is called the Create channel, Create TV. And they've got all kinds of cooking shows, painting shows. It's all about creativity and art. I got a comment here. Let's see what we got. Do you need an antenna for each TV? Ralph, this is a great question. Yes, you will have to get an antenna for each television. If you're getting rid of cable and the cable boxes, you'll want to go out. And so if you've got a television in your living room, let's say, and you got a television in your bedroom or your study or whatever, you'll need to get an antenna for each one of the televisions, all right? So what I did, I just bought 2 because I do have a television in my bedroom. I just bought 2 of the same antenna, $35 a piece, so I spent $70. When you connect it to your television, you're going to have to scan for the channels. It isn't automatically going to pick up all the channels. And there are instructions, very easy to follow, and there's a scan function, and it will scan for all of the channels that are floating around in the air. And you'll even see the little bar, kind of like the progress bar, go across your screen. And then you'll have all your channels. Periodically, the channels, the stations update their signal. So every 6 months or so, I just go in and I rescan. So that way I can make sure I have the most updated signal that CBS is putting out, or NBC, whatever, okay? But that's a great question, Ralph. You do need a separate antenna for each TV. Just get the same antenna, and that way it's easy, all right? Next, so I answered that. So next, come on, change, there we go. For movies, I subscribe to Netflix, all right? So for over-the-air TV, you get the antenna. Now, let's say you want a DVR, and you want to record over-the-air television. Well, I went out and bought what's called a Channel Master over-the-air DVR. You don't have to buy this, but I wanted to have a little DVR. So you can get this at Best Buy. Just Google Channel Master, and it'll take you to their website. You can buy their over-the-air DVR. They've got antennas, HD antennas. They got all kinds of stuff that makes your over-the-air experience a little better. I paid $130 for it. It's a one-time cost. You don't have to subscribe to anything. You just stick it up there, and you actually connect the HD antenna to the DVR, and then the DVR connects to the television, so that the signal runs through the antenna to the DVR, broadcasts on your television. But the DVR can record, my DVR can record up to 2 programs at a time. So, for example, one of the sub-channels, I think it's 5.2, it's called MeTV. It's either 4.2 or 5.2, I can't remember, but MeTV. And they show all these reruns of all these cool old shows like Gilligan's Island and the Andy Griffith Show and Leave It to Beaver, all this stuff. But one of my favorite shows of all time is Columbo. I love Columbo, Peter Falk, you know, just one more thing, right? I love Columbo. I could watch Columbo all day long, every day for the rest of my life. I never get tired. So I record all of the old episodes of Columbo, and then I go back and watch them later. But you don't have to do this, but this allows you to connect your HD antenna, get the local network, and record the show, and then it, of course, projects onto your television. You don't have to get this part, though. For movies, I subscribe to Netflix. Many of you on this call today already subscribe to Netflix. I pay $12 per month for streaming. And I only do streaming. I used to get the DVDs in the mail. I don't ever watch DVDs anymore. I just stream everything. And now Netflix has so many streaming options, you don't have to get DVDs anymore. So I pay $12 a month. You can have multiple profiles on one account. So I have a profile, and I can save the shows I like. My wife has a profile. My kids each have their own profiles. Those of you that have kids or grandkids and you don't want your kids being able to watch just anything, there are parental controls that you can control what they are able to see on their profile, and you set the age. So Netflix, $12 a month. That was the first piece for movies. Next piece, there are certain series that I like to watch on Channel 4, 5, 9, Fox, whatever. But I don't like watching commercials. And sometimes I forget to set my little Channel Master DVR when it airs live. So you know what? Hulu is a great service that has access to a lot of these series that you like to watch, okay? My wife likes to watch the show This Is Us. It's on NBC. She doesn't like watching commercials. So what happens is it airs live on NBC. The very next day, the newest episode is available on Hulu. And we pay $13 a month for streaming with no commercials. Now you can pay $7 a month, but it has commercials. But we get streaming, no commercials in any of our shows. So we get to watch all of our favorite series, no commercials. Now you can bundle Hulu with the new Disney Plus service and ESPN Plus for this exact same price. It's $12.99 a month, but it's $13 a month, okay? You can get Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus for one bundled price. So I get all of that for $13 a month. Next, what about cable channels? You know, you lose ESPN, you lose TNT, you lose AMC, TBS, the History Channel, other channels that maybe you like. Well, another great service is called Sling TV. So just Google Sling TV, all right? It's 30 bucks a month, and there are different packages. I have what's called the orange package, okay? There's also the blue package. Both the orange and the blue package are 30 bucks a month, but they give you access to live cable channels like TNT, AMC, many more. You can add a la carte options. You know, if you want a sports package, you can pay an extra 5 bucks a month and you can get that. If you want the drama package, you can pay an extra 5 bucks a month and get that. I just have the basic package, and the orange package has one set of channels. The blue package has a different set of channels. So what you want to do is look at the channels that each package has, and depending on, okay, well, I like this, 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 and this, I want that package. You go with that. I actually subscribe to Sling TV through my Amazon account. Amazon has a partnership with Sling TV. You can actually subscribe to it. So there are two different packages with Sling TV that give you access to different cable networks, and you can choose to watch TV live, okay, or they have a huge on-demand catalog. If you want to go to HGTV and you want to watch an episode of House Hunters, but it aired, you know, like 3 years ago, they've got their entire collection of shows that you can watch, okay? So that's Sling TV for actual cable channels. Then finally, the fourth piece of this, so I've got Netflix, I've got Hulu, I've got Sling TV, and then finally, my wife begged me, said, please, can we add Amazon Prime? Because my wife buys all kinds of stuff through Amazon. And if you subscribe to Amazon Prime for $13 a month, not only do you get access to their movies and their original series, and there's some really cool shows on Amazon Prime right now. Jack Ryan is a really good show. If you haven't seen it, it's awesome. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, we love that show. It's a hilarious show. It's got some filthy language in it, so if you don't like that, then you don't want to watch that show, but it's really hilarious. It's a great show. So lots of great original programming on Amazon Prime, all kinds of movies. But you also, when you're an Amazon Prime member, if you buy a lot of stuff from Amazon, you get free shipping on many Amazon items when you are an Amazon Prime member. It also allows you to store photos, so you can store a bunch of your photos. You know, when your phone fills up and your computer fills up, Amazon Prime members have like an unlimited amount of storage for photos. There's all kinds of music that you can store. So it really is kind of a one-stop shop for television, shipping, music, photos, all right? So what's the final bill for all of this? Now remember, I was paying $300 a month, over $300 a month. It was about 315 bucks a month for cable, phone, and internet. Now, I still have my internet. Okay, in order to make all this stuff work, you have to keep your wireless internet, all right? But I have Netflix, 12 bucks a month, Hulu, 13 bucks a month, Sling, 30 bucks a month, and Amazon Prime for $13 a month. I have replaced more than 90% of the programming that I like to watch, movies, television, series, whatever, and I pay $68 a month, okay? Now, you can pull out the cable, the internet, okay? I still pay about 90 bucks a month to Cox for my wireless internet, all right? But that's still over $200 worth of stuff that I don't have to pay for. And instead of 215 bucks, I'm paying 68 bucks a month. All right, so we got some questions coming in here. Kevin says, I too cut the cord last month. I went with YouTube TV, which is all local channels, sports, movies on demand, and unlimited DVR for 65 bucks a month. We already had Netflix and Amazon Prime. The beauty of this is that it requires no wires or antennas or DVRs, no switching between over-the-air and other services, and it works on all of your smart TVs and at a second home, and you have your DVR recordings with you wherever you go. Kevin, that is an awesome suggestion. You see, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin went with YouTube TV. There are so many services out there. I didn't even talk about CBS their service, okay? I actually have that one too because I'm a big Star Trek geek. And so I've been watching the new Star Trek shows. You can make fun of me if you want to. I like Star Trek. So I got that. I have the Disney Plus, but YouTube TV is another great option. We have another question. What is your, don't you have wireless internet? Yes, I do have wireless internet. So as I said, I did have to keep that cost, but that's $90 a month. All right. And that's for really fast. Okay. That's a pretty fast, I've got the super fast, whatever. And, you know, but even with that, I pay that monthly, but it's still a far cry from the $315 or so a month that I was paying. So I answered that question, So the point is that you can save a lot of money by cutting the cord and using services like this. These are just 4, okay? And these are the 4 that I started with. But then since then, I've added on CBS. Kevin is using YouTube TV. What you really have to ask yourself is, why are you holding on to the cable? If you've been asking yourself, do I really want to keep cable? Is this really worth it? For me, the answer was no. Okay. I have almost all the same programming that I had before. There are a few channels that I don't have. Look, I don't have Fox Sports, so I don't get to watch the Thunder games all the time. Unless they're on ESPN or TNT, I don't have NBA TV and I don't have Fox Sports. You know what? I listen on the radio. We've been cord cutters now for 10 years. 10 years we haven't had cable. I don't miss it at all. I think that you will find, there we go. I think you're going to find that you also aren't going to miss it. Now, there's some other things you can add on here, okay? So we talked about the HD antenna, $35, you can pay more. You can buy the little DVR if you want, but if you go with a service like Kevin did or some of these other services, you don't need a DVR. The DVR is in the cloud, okay? It's all saved backed up online, and so much is on demand, you don't have to record stuff. It's just there. Another investment that I would highly encourage you to make is with an Amazon Fire Stick, okay? So an Amazon Fire Stick is about this long, okay? And it's an HDMI connection, and it plugs directly into your TV. And there's a power cable that keeps it powered. The Amazon Fire Stick is $40. And all of these apps that I'm talking about, Netflix, Hulu, Sling, YouTube is on there, Facebook Watch, you can watch live Facebook broadcasts. There's so many apps that you can download for free to the Amazon Fire Stick. And so long as you have a subscription to these services, when we go on a trip, you know, Kevin talked about anywhere you go, you have your programming. When we go on a trip, we take our Fire Stick with us. And if we go to, say, Great Wolf Lodge down in Dallas, okay, and we take the kids, well, if we're in the room in the evening and we want to watch a movie and there's nothing good on the television they have there, we plug in our Fire Stick, we tap into the Wi-Fi at the hotel, and now we have access to all of our accounts, all of our stuff, and we can watch our movies, we can watch whatever we want. It's a really cool thing. An Amazon Fire Stick is $40, okay? It doesn't take a lot of know-how to set this stuff up, okay? And when you do, I promise you, you're never going to want to go back. You're never going to miss cable, okay? You're just not. Occasionally your internet goes out and you have to call the cable company, the Cox or whoever, but that's a very rare occurrence. The point is, I'm paying $68 a month for all of these services. I have almost all the TV I had before, and I'm easily paying $150 to $175 less per month than I was when I had cable. All right. So, are there any questions that I can answer? We've got just a few more minutes here because I've got one more thing I want to share with you. But are there any other questions about how to cut the cable cord? And I am recording this, and so I'm going to email this out because I know many of you have subscribed to this class through email. So I'll be emailing this out. But what questions can I answer? And I'm going to shut up and take a quick drink here. Do you have a question that you'd like to ask? Any questions? Look through here and see. Okay, don't have any questions right now. Oh, there's a question. Okay, Kevin's got another great comment. He may be convincing me that I need to switch to YouTube TV. He says YouTube has everything Sling TV is giving you, plus Fox Sports, plus CBS. Okay, Kevin, you should be teaching this class. And the best DVR service you've ever seen, which requires no equipment. Check it out. Also, Roku Stick is better than Fire Stick due to a better remote. Okay, I've never used the Roku Stick, so I can't compare, so I'm going to have to take your word for it, Kevin. One thing I like about my Fire Stick, though, is that it also allows me to access my Amazon account from the Fire Stick, so they're connected. So I can actually buy things on Amazon through my Fire Stick. Of course, you can just as easily get on your phone and do that too. So, you know, that's one thing. But I did not know that YouTube TV had those things. So see, this is good. This is good that we're doing this class. We have another comment or question that just came in. I want to look at that. Dan, talk about, let's see. You should talk about telephone service options. There are some really good ones and much cheaper than Cox or AT&T. So that's a good thing. Maybe that's something we talk about next time is other phone. Now I will tell you, I use my cell phone exclusively. All right, so I have Verizon. I don't use any other phone service, but there are certain services you can use to have a home phone. For example, you can actually buy at the Verizon store, if you're a Verizon customer, and AT&T may have the same thing, that you can actually buy a phone that is like a home phone at home, but it's tied to your Verizon account. And it uses Bluetooth technology to connect your cell phone to the home phone. But there's Magic Jack. I'd have to look at, I'm not as well versed in a lot of those simply because I don't have a home phone anymore. But that's a good recommendation, Dan. Thank you for that. So I want to thank Ralph for his question. Dan, what a great comment. Kevin, thank you so much for the great comments and suggestions there regarding YouTube TV. You should check out YouTube TV, ladies and gentlemen, in addition to some of these other services. So here in just our last few minutes, I want to tell you about another thing. If you are looking for more information, you want a little bit more education, you want to go further. So we do these 30-minute Wednesday lunchtime drive-thrus. But I want to tell you about my Mondo big class that I teach. It's called Rock Your Retirement. Many of you on this call today have come through my class over the last couple of years. Rock Your Retirement is our flagship educational program, and it's 4 hours of education over 2 nights. So they're one night, 1 week, and then the same night the following week. Okay, so it's not 4 hours all back to back. But for the rest of 2020, because many of you are still dealing with the ill effects of COVID-19, job losses, furloughs, uncertainty, fear, all of those things. And, you know, we can offer as a service. Typically, we charge $50 for you to enroll in this class because it's true education. And just in case you're curious, hold on a second, bear with me. All right. This is the big, thick workbook that I have for the class. And as you can see, there are a lot of pages to this. This is a 130-page workbook. And we go over the 5 key areas of retirement planning that you need to know. We talk about how not to run out of money. We talk about how to structure your investment portfolio for income generation in retirement. We talk about what are your Social Security options. Get tons of questions about that. We talk about Medicare a lot. We talk about long-term care insurance. We talk about how to lower your tax bill in retirement. We talk about estate planning. What's the difference between a will and a trust? Those are all the things we cover. I answer any question you want to ask. And for the rest of 2020, this class is totally online, just like this, and it's totally free. That's because we're offering it as a service to you and to others in the community, people who just need access to this information, so that, you know, if you've been laid off and you just decided I'm going to retire, or maybe you just want to think, what are my options for rolling my 401k over to a new 401k plan or to an IRA? We talk about stuff like that. So the next class is coming up September 17th and 24th. My August class is totally full and it ends this week. So some of you are in my August class, so thank you for being here. But the next opportunity is September 17th and 24th. Those are both Thursday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Go to ChappelWood So ChappelWood University is our educational arm. Go to ChappelWoodU.com. You can get enrolled in that course. All right. And I guess I should probably show you what it looks like. I will share my screen so that you can see that over here. So if you just go to, oh, come over here. Come on. There we go. So go to ChappelWoodU.com. All right. This is the screen you're going to see when you go to that website. And you scroll down here and you'll see that the next online course, when it loads, it's over here on this side, okay? You'll be able to get enrolled in that class. And I'm not sure why the little widget isn't showing up over here. There it is. It was tired, ladies and gentlemen. It wanted to take a break. But you come over here and you just click on the 17th, all right? And you click 6:30 p.m. and hit confirm. You answer a few questions, you hit submit, and boom, you are enrolled in the class. So go to ChappelWoodU.com to get enrolled in that class. And in the meantime, if you have any other questions about how to cut the cable cord or just anything, you can always email me. I'm at Damon@ChappelWood.com. That's DAMON @ChappelWood, ChappelWood.com. Happy to answer any questions that you might have. And thank you so much for being on the Wednesday Lunchtime Drive-Thru today. I really appreciate your time. Hope that you have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time on the Wednesday Lunchtime Drive-Thru. Take care.